How is it going, boys and girls? Welcome back to Key West Waterman. My name is Aaron Young. You know this guy. We're out here in Key West today, and I have a very special waterman with me from across the planet. Needs no introduction. This is Rokkit from Australia, and he is all the way over here down in Key West. And we actually were in touch last year, and it didn't work out. Our schedules just didn't line up. And you've been, is this your, what, second year doing this U.S. trip?
Second attempt.
Okay.
This one's it's more than an attempt now.
Yeah,
we're
here.
Done. Yeah.
So we've been trying to set this up since last year, and finally the schedule's lined up. We've got some decent weather today, but I was kind of asking him when we were talking about doing this episode, and I asked him what's your desired species, and he said hogfish. And I just wanted to ask you. You already told me, but I want to tell the viewers why hogfish. Why is that desirable to you from someone that's across the other side of the world?
It's just such a different fish.
Yeah.
We've got nothing like the fish, and it looks, but not just that, just the way its mouth opens right up. It's like got this huge double jointed jaw.
It's very unique.
It's
it looks like a dinosaur fish. It's wild.
Plus that cool, it's just a cool looking fish and very different, and probably something that I couldn't catch on a line.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the reasons. And then plus I saw all your videos with you getting them, so I was like, oh, hang on, maybe this is possible. So
So that is the plan today. If you're not familiar with his channel, go check it out. He is essentially the Australian version of me. He's a waterman. He does fishes and dives. He does a lot. You do a lot of camping though, right?
Yeah, lots of camping.
Okay. So go check it out, Rokkit on YouTube. The plan today is we're going to try to find a hogfish, but as well, we like to eat stuff. So anything else that swims by, we're probably going to shoot it. So we're in about, I'll show you the depth, 18 feet of water-ish. I don't know what that is in meters. We've been trying to talk about that. We'll figure it out. But that's the plan today. We're going to get suited up and hop in. Something I was going to mention to you is I am very particular and like a stickler on shooting undersized fish.
Okay.
So I prefer if we stay together at first. I'll help you point some stuff out. The hogfish are very deceiving because it's 16 inches, but it's fork length. It's not total length. So they have this big fan tail that sticks out. So we're measuring to here, not to the tip. So I'll point some out. Hopefully we'll see some legal ones. It might take a few spots, but
cool.
One way or another, we're gonna find a hogfish today. Welcome back underwater, everybody. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoy this video. We'll talk about some of these dives. This was actually a little bit of an interesting day. Rod actually forgot his mask and snorkel and weight belt and gloves at the dock. Luckily, he did bring his fins. I had an extra mask, but he had to dive without a snorkel, which made it very, very difficult. I'm gonna go check the anchor just to make sure it's snug. And the rock pile's all right here, and then we'll work through some other ones. We considered running back to the dock to grab the rest of his gear, but we were really far from home this day, and it would have killed a large portion of the day running back. And Will was kind enough. He sat out a couple of spots and let Rod borrow his snorkel, and I even offered mine, but he said, and I quote, "I made my bed, I have to sleep in it." But made it very difficult to dive without a snorkel. If you've ever done it, it is not easy. It's quite the challenge. So hogfish can be in all sorts of different environments, particularly this day. That's what we were looking for. That's what Rod had in mind. That was the species he wanted to check off. But a lot of times if I'm looking for hogfish, I want to hit, I'd say, more subtle rock piles, not huge giant ledges or huge coral heads. But I like subtle rocks or hard bottom, fans, stuff like that. Some of my best hogfish spots don't look like anything. It's just sand and fans, and that's it. But it does also really depend on the area you're working. They can be anywhere at any time. So there's some baby like female hogs, which can be a good sign because typically if there's a couple females around, there'll be a big hog, big male somewhere in the area, but kind of quiet. I see 3 females already, so that's a good sign.
The first spot was pretty slow, not uncommon, you know, there's not just fish on every spot. I try to keep YouTube land real. There's just not fish everywhere all the time. You got to cover some ground and put the time in. This was our second spot, but I did see a lot of smaller hogfish here when we first jumped in, which I really like. A lot of times if you're seeing a lot of hogfish, a lot of smaller females, there's going to be a bigger male around. Not always, but a lot of times. Just laying on the bottom here, trying to create some commotion, some disturbance, some vibration in the water. A lot of times that'll help bring fish in. You can see, turn around. This Goliath grouper was very curious. It got its attention. Trying to figure out what I'm doing. And some of you may be wondering what this green algae is. It randomly will show up on certain spots in the summertime. Sometimes it's real thin, sometimes it gets really, really heavy. I don't actually know exactly what it is, but I just call it green algae. Pops up every summer.
The water got like snotty.
We kept moving along, but as the day went on, the tide was going out, and it seemed like the water visibility was getting a lot worse, which isn't uncommon. When the tide swings, it'll bring different bodies of water around, and this area was a lot more snotty. You can see a lot more particles and stuff in the water, and you get a really good look at this green algae. I don't know if it's algae or moss. I don't know what they call it. I call it green algae. But it almost literally looks like moss, real long, stringy stuff. We get this most summers, pretty much every summer I've lived here, I've seen it. Just randomly rolls through in certain areas, and later in the year it disappears. And typically I don't see a lot of fish around the moss. But this was interesting. There was one big rock and there was fish all around it.
You'll get a real good look at that algae here. There's quite a bit of life, like maybe 20 feet in front of me. There was a lot of angelfish and stuff, and I didn't go all the way to it, so maybe go up there and do a drop.
Some years the green moss will get so bad you can't even find your spots. The rocks will just be completely covered. It actually is pretty wild. I don't know a ton about it. If anyone out there knows exactly what it is or if it's harmful, I would actually love to know. Leave a comment. So this is Rod down. I had seen a bunch of fish kind of on the outskirts of this rock, so I sent him down first just in case there was anything good hanging out. And he quickly spots a hogfish, but he was a little hesitant on size. He wasn't sure. Seeing your first one, you don't really know. You can see right here, decent hogfish, the big brown snout, and it spooked just a bit, but I know a lot of times they're going to hang out in the same area. Normally you get another chance on them.
He was probably right over legal.
Yeah.
He was like right. He's like right there.
Yeah.
That one had a really big snout for his size, but that's. But see how it's like thicker and brown?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like this area.
Like, oh,
Yeah, he's pretty close, but he's probably legal.
Okay.
But I like this area because it's pretty busy actually. Even with all the algae, there's a lot of fish.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you see him again and you're keen on taking it, feel free. He looks like he's good.
Okay.
Just a heads up, Rod. Just a heads up. They do get a lot bigger than that.
Okay.
Just it depends on your goal.
Well, it's right at the back of the boat. We'll have a look.
So I wanted to just double check that this hogfish was big enough. Rod having not seen or shot one before, I wasn't gonna put that decision in his hands. So I just wanted to confirm I really, really don't like unnecessarily killing undersized fish just because you think they're big enough. So I wanted to confirm. Went back down, hogfish was hanging around, got a good look at it. So I came back up and gave him the green light. So there was actually a dive in between this one. I thought my camera was on, but it wasn't. And the hogfish, we couldn't find it, but I looked in the hole and it was up in the hole. So I told Rod, I was like, hey, go down, take a peek in the hole, see if it's still in there. So he drops down, looks in the hole, and funny enough, the hogfish comes rolling around the other side. So I start grunting at him. And nowadays, hogfish is only one per person, so this isn't the biggest hogfish I've ever seen, but you play the game where you wait for a bigger one and you might not get a chance. So I told him if he wanted to make sure he got one, this is probably going to be his best opportunity. And I put the perfect shot in it. Right in the gill, didn't mess up any of the meat, and we checked off hogfish. I was pretty stoked.
Was that you? He literally came back out, like you stuck your head in the rock. He's like, I'm not in the rock anymore, and he came around the side.
Okay.
That was super funny.
Alright, yeah, all good.
That was hilarious.
I thought I saw him, and then I was looking under, I was like, oh no, you can't see him. And then I thought I heard you going, oh.
I was grunting at you.
I was like, oh, yeah, we got him, we got a hogfish.
That was neat. He literally, I was like, he's in the hole. He goes down there and sticks his head in the hole, and the hogfish like comes across his shoulder on the outside of the coral head.
Listen, I know you're a good spear fisherman, but Grandma's snorkel might be what did it,
The lucky heirloom snorkel.
About 17 and a half.
Yeah, so 1.5 inches over legal limit.
So this is what throws you off though. So you see that fish,
You got to push that mouth.
and then say if you were to measure to the tip of the tail, it's 20 inches. If you measure to the fork, it's 17 and a half.
Yeah. And so 16's the legal?
16 to
Okay,
fork
so
right here.
we're legal, that's good, that's
But
good.
see that
Cool.
big, see that big?
Yeah,
That's what throws
that'd
everybody
definitely
off. So
be
you're measuring to here.
That'd definitely be cheap.
Well, collectively, it's been fairly slow, but Rod got his first hogfish, so I'm pretty stoked about that. You'll have to go over to his channel and check that video out. But it's not going to feed all of us. We're going to need more than that. So we're going to keep moving along. This is our next spot. We're in the shallows today. The weatherman didn't do us any justice. It's actually pretty windy out, but we're going to keep plugging along, checking some spots, and see what swims by. Kept moving. Same conditions. The water, it was in and out depending on how deep we were. So there was so much current, it was stirring up a lot of different bodies of water. Some areas were really clean, some were really dirty. You'll see later we hit some really dirty spots. This one was decent enough. I could hunt this all day. I don't mind this, 10, 15 foot of is or so. And I wasn't actually expecting to see a hogfish on this spot. I've never shot any in this particular area. We ran a little bit after the last spot, and I come around the corner. A really lit up red grouper. You don't see a ton of those. This pattern, it was kind of neat, all striped out. And I pulled my head up on my way up, and kind of hard to see, but a big hogfish spooks. I heard it before I saw it, and I was a little surprised because I don't see a lot on this spot. Yo, Will, there's a red. Just a heads up, there's a red here. He's probably a little short. There's a red here, but he's probably a little short, and I just spooked a big hog. So I sounded the alarm to them, let them know there was another nice hogfish in the area. It depends. Most of the time they're going to hang in the same area. It's not often they're going to spook and completely leave unless you shoot at them, but pay close attention. It just slipped right behind that rock, and I actually didn't see it, and it comes and darts in front of me. Not playing hard to get, but also not giving me the shot right away, and it parks it under this ledge, thinks it's camo, and I line up, and it turns just enough that I didn't like it. So I'm going to wait for a better shot. Comes back around and gives me the broadside. And if you've watched the channel long enough, you've definitely heard me talk about the hogfish population down here. I personally think it was struggling a few years back, but since they changed the regulations, I really think it has made a comeback, and I don't mind taking a few every now and again.
That one up.
That's what we're talking about.
Beautiful. Is that the same one you reckon?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a. I'll take that one all day.
Oh,
Beautiful fish.
Aaron's gonna hold up my fish for me.
We're on the board, baby. Nice hogfish. Get to see those every day. Always a treat. We're probably gonna move down a few miles at least. The visibility's gone to crap. The algae's blowing everywhere, so it like catches your eye and thinks it's fish, and the current is ripping. So it's just making it very, very difficult to dive, but at least I've got something to eat. Look at the teeth on that thing. But we're gonna move down a little ways, hopefully get into some better conditions and see if we can find some more fish. We ran quite a ways, a lot farther than I had planned. We were pretty close to Key West on this one. Ran quite a ways back. I was just trying to get out of the current. The current was really, really making it difficult for us to dive. If you've never dove in current, it just wears you out a lot faster. So these spots, just some artificial structure. I've dove these actually before in an episode once, but I haven't dove them in more than a few months, so I figured we'd check them out. Water looked okay. A little fuzzy, but definitely diveable. I appreciate Rod sticking it out. It was definitely not the conditions. Not when you think of Key West. You think of nice clean water, lots of big fish all around, and it just unfortunately wasn't one of those days I would love for it to have been, but sometimes that's reality.
Super quiet.
They all Goliath grouper.
The Goliath grouper?
There's like
Oh
four
my
of them.
gosh. I thought that's what I could see the shadow of.
You tell me drop one, there's a smaller one that I don't know, I'm assuming Goliath.
Okay.
Rod was really surprised at all the Goliath grouper we had around. Realistically, we probably saw, I don't know, 20, 30 this day. I wasn't really counting, but it was more than a few. Most spots had at least one on it, and these artificial spots had, shoot, at least 5 or 6 on each pile, and we hit several piles. Lots of decent mangroves around. I'm just not completely sold on it. I was trying to wait for a bigger one. A lot of times these piles will have a couple big mangoes or some dog snapper, occasional sheephead or jack. And some of those mangroves were definitely legal, just wasn't convinced. And I look in here and there's another 4 or 5 Goliaths all piled on each other. Really is wild.
There's at least like 4 or 5 in there. They're grunting. That's so crazy.
Another big Goliath. I thought that was a decent one, and I stick my head in this hole, and there is a giant one in here. I just wanted Rod to see one of the big ones. He said they get a similar grouper. I think he said like it was called a Queensland grouper maybe. But anyways, I had my head in the hole, and of course, big old mangrove comes over my shoulder. I don't have my gun in my hand, and this thing is so shifty. It just like turns and leans at me. And it was just too wiggly. I wasn't comfortable with the shot. I just thought it was funny. Maybe that fish has been shot at before. I've seen it happen a couple times, but those snapper will turn sideways like that and make themselves more thin and a little harder to shoot. I wasn't sold on the shot.
Did you see the size of those snapper?
Oh no, I didn't see this.
Oh my god!
That head's like, it is massive, isn't it?
Oh,
So
that's.
it just takes up the whole hole.
I pulled my head out and there's a snapper like this big, and he's.
Like, what kind?
It was a mangrove. I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for him, and he did the little flip and dip on me. He was rolling.
So we swam over just about 100 feet or so. There's another pile. There's a few of them right next to each other. And I see that same big snapper. That, or he's teaching the other snapper how to do it. He's just doing that same thing where he's rolling and making himself a much smaller target. And I chased this thing for a while. I just could not get the comfortable shot. It's like, I probably could have hit it, but you don't want to hit it thin and tear out because then you know you're not going to see it again. It's going to go hide somewhere. It was just a little bit too wiggly for me to be comfortable with my shot. It's just so funny. I've seen a few snapper do this before, but it's not very common. So on a previous dive, I actually saw a smaller, about 16, 18-inch dog snapper go in this ledge. So I decided I'd get my light out and start looking under some of the ledges, and you'll see I'll come around this corner. There's a Goliath grouper, and I saw the edge of a dog snapper, but I couldn't tell how big it was. But this Goliath grouper is about 20 pounds right there, maybe 15, 20 pounds. And I go behind the Goliath grouper, and I'm going to pause this. There is a giant dog snapper head sitting there. And the way the ledge was, I couldn't get my gun at a low enough angle to get a shot on it. The sand was too high. You can see my gun's pointing down in the sand. I came around that, and I didn't have the angle I wanted, or otherwise I would have had a shot on it. But that was one of the biggest dog snappers I've seen, definitely locally, but probably one of the biggest dog snappers I've ever seen. And I searched this place up and down with a flashlight. I went back to the boat, got the Grover, the shorter gun, so I could get in tighter spots. And it just pulled a Houdini on me. I could not find it. No matter how hard I looked, I couldn't see the tail, the lips, the pectoral fin, nothing. Normally I can at least locate one part of the fish even if I can't get a shot on it. But this fish was really good at hiding. And maybe a little bit of frustration, but I also do love mangroves. I saw a nice mangrove in here, so decided to take my shot. So we hit one spot between this and the last. The water was a little better, but there just wasn't a lot of fish. And we actually almost called it, but I was like, you know what, let's hit one more spot. I was getting a little frustrated. At this point, we didn't have many fish in the boat, and I really wanted Rod to shoot a few more fish. And, you know, as a fellow waterman coming from across the other side of the world, I wanted to show him a good time and show him what Key West was about, but it just didn't seem like it was in the cards this day. But I really appreciate him sticking it out, and sometimes it's just the reality of it. You can see the current pumping by us, all the particles moving, and yeah, we put our time in, just wasn't happening for whatever reason. We were coming up on low tide here, so you can see the water just got really bad. Visibility was on its way out, and quite frankly, I just needed a couple more fish for the week to eat. So I'm waiting for the snapper, trying to be patient. And it turns, gives me the shot, and I let it rip. All in all, though, it was a great day. Like I said, I would have loved to have been able to put Rod on a few more fish, but that's how it goes sometimes. Better than a day on land, I'll tell you that.
I had to shoot one of them. It's not too bad.
Did really the gun go off? I was like, oh, here we go.
Well, got a couple of fish to eat. Honestly, it's a little slower than I was hoping that it would be, but sometimes that's how it goes. If you watch the channel, you know that I like to keep it real. And
This is real.
it's really not that bad.
No.
I don't think it's that bad.
That would be someone's dream come true right there.
You're making me feel bad. For
No, I wanted to eat
one more dive.
I wanted to eat a grouper, and I wanted you to try one of our black grouper.
Yeah,
but
okay, that would have actually been pretty special. Yeah.
sometimes not a lot of fish swim by.
Yeah, right.
But that's what we ended up with. Some nice hoggies.
Yeah,
And,
I'm wrapped with that. Like, I'm not.
First one, right?
Yeah, first, yeah. And
That's-
probably, see, this is the thing, probably only one for a long time as
Yeah.
well, unless I come back. So
That's always really cool
Yeah.
for me when I travel, is checking a new species off. So
yeah.
I'm glad we at least got the hogfish. I'm pretty pumped. But anyways, we're done out here. We're gonna head back, and we've got some fish to eat.
Target species. Yours is better, but you know, you gotta,
I told
gotta let the boat owner.
I told
catch
you,
the bigger
you
one.
play that game. It's like
Yeah.
if you shoot the first one, then you know you got one, but the bigger
Well,
one,
that's
it
right. I
might
know.
swim
'cause
by.
and then what if I didn't see another one? And I'd be devastated because we may not have seen another one.
And then,
today.
then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I was greedy and I lost my chance.
Yeah, because I didn't see another one that big. I'm
Yeah,
sure, so,
I've played that
yeah.
game so many times.
Yeah.
I normally lose it. Get some good stuff. All right, so we were chatting about it, trying to figure out what to do. Rod actually has to head back north later this evening, but we've got to cook those hogfish. So that's what we're gonna do. We're at the food store right now. Will's gonna run in and grab some supplies, and Rod's gonna head over to the house. And we're gonna have some hogfish for dinner. We'll see you in a bit.
So they feel it similar to most other fish.
Yeah, their stomach cavity's kind of weird,
Yep.
just a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty similar. And you'll see once I open this up. It almost has like I don't want to say a double rib cage, but it's like two sections instead of it's.
Okay.
You'll see what I'm talking about when I get in there.
Yeah. Right.
I'm sure there's an explanation.
Does Pearl get does she know what's happening here? She's
Yeah.
100% gonna
Yeah,
get some.
she's like, can I get some
kickbacks?
maybe a snack or something? She knows.
That's that for a response. That's the lazy man's attitude, isn't it?
No. I always like to watch the first one on my personally. I've never done it.
Beautiful.
Piece for Pearl. Want some? Come on. So that's what I mean. See how it's. So typically you have just the one
okay. It's got
cavity.
sort of two air pockets, or one sort of like that air pocket,
But
and
it's
then
not,
another. It's
but
like
it's
it's
not,
a
it's not
second.
the swim bladder because that membrane.
Yeah, the ribs
isn't
come
there.
back up, don't they?
Or maybe one is the swim bladder. Just the membrane doesn't. Because normally you'll see the membrane, it like stretches and flaps right there. But there's, I don't know. I've never understood it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Because it's clearly divided.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not just a yeah.
Typically the swim bladder will be on the roof right here, and you can pick it up and like cut through it. It's just all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they
bizarre.
simply just pump air in there, and there's no physical bladder. But I always found that interesting. All right, so this is Rod's hogfish from today, gutted, killed, and scaled. We're gonna have a hogfish extravaganza this evening. Mr. Will's gonna cook this thing whole. We'll see you in the kitchen.
But it's one of my favorite ways to cook the fish because it is forgiving, steams the fish, and I think it gives you the ability to taste the fish in a kind of unadulterated way.
Yeah, no, that's going to be key for me because it's the first time ever.
Yeah.
Ooh, the electric weapon there, eh?
It's fancy here.
Yeah.
And then saute the onions because that's one mistake people do. They put the onions just in expecting them to cook in the same amount of time that the fish will cook, which they will not. So
If you want to leave like a couple in the pan on accident,
I have a whole nother one in there. I can.
just like,
Onions are good, right? Yeah, it's hard to resist.
Normally, I would like to do this on the barbecue, but we're not gonna fire up coals and wait for that. So we'll do it on the grill down there, which will be just as good. And just lemons again to provide moisture. Really, you're steaming the fish.
all right. So we're kind of just cooking a little bit of everything. We're not going to do full-blown recipes tonight, but we're just going to show you what we've got. Rod's doing some sashimi. Will's doing the whole fish. I'm going to make some hogfish fingers, as you could call them. But everyone say cheers.
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 It was nice
Oh,
meeting you.
cheers.
Rob,
No,
thanks
thank you
coming
for taking
down.
me out.
It was a
No,
treat
it's
today.
Fun
It's
day.
awesome, and I haven't even eaten yet, so it smells really good. So
We actually, in the house, we call it long dinner, where we just kind of, it's like this process, like the whole process of making dinner, like, together. And it's a thing. It's the reason you do it, because you go out and harvest it, and you cook it with your friends, and that's what it's all about, in my opinion.
No,
So.
perfect. No, I'm 100% in. No, yeah, and you guys have got to come out to Australia because we can do some serious long dinner. Yeah.
Serious long dinner?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Alan's throwing shakas. Get out of the way.
Aaron hates it because I just learned what shaka is. I just throw it out all the time because I'm like, I feel stoked.
Have you not been to Shaka?
No, I'm from Texas.
She didn't know what it was, so she thought it was like the airline pilot, like, ma'am, you're in 2B. She's like, yeah. I'm like, no, that's not what it means. Like, it's about stoke. It's like,
I feel like I'm always
2B.
stoked. So yeah, I use it whenever he says
Maybe a little excessively. Alan's just stoked on life.
Will's
always
flip-flop.
heartbreaking when the thumb goes down.
That's it.
Oh, sorry, we call them thongs.
Oh, well. So Will's leaving
Oh,
tomorrow.
look at the
next
wear
day.
on that.
Next day. And I got
Those
this
are
when I
the
first
most
came down.
This is the
uncomfortable.
End of Will's
ones
Key
ever.
West trip this time, and
I went out the door and almost fell down the
he
stairs.
blew out, as Jimmy Buffett said, he blew up a
Show him
flip-flop.
how
I've found thongs in much better condition than that one looked like.
Oh,
you have
Washed up on the beach.
It was actually a thing in my videos for a while where I'd go to the deserted islands, but there's always like plastic and things washing up, unfortunately. But thongs are also hype, so I'd go with no shoes, and then part of the video would consist of me trying to find footwear. Yeah, so and I'd get different parts of them, and like say if I found that one, I would just rip that part off and find the top of another one and join them. And by the end of the video, it's almost without fail, I would have footwear by the end of the video.
You still have a lot of life in them.
funny.
Yeah, we saw
bubbling.
we saw your weight belt, bro.
Yeah.
There's no life in there.
I'm a thrifty guy.
Wow, they made it the entire trip.
I love
I
that.
broke them out right before I came down.
Yeah. So these are some apps we've got. Got some fried hogfish fingers, little ponzu wasabi, and then oh, look at this. I gotta check this out. What do we got going on here? Beautiful.
So that's just the raw hogfish with some red onion, orange juice, and then just salt and pepper and some chili crisp. And I stole your chili crisp because I couldn't find my chili crisp. Yeah. But you had the spicy. Oh, all the way at the back there.
Oh, that's hilarious.
No, yeah, but I was going to leave it here anyway. So yeah, it's all there. To be
Oh wow.
Gosh,
That's
Will
gotta
made.
be mixed.
What do you call it, Will?
Street corn salad.
Street corn salad.
Street corn
So
salad.
I'm gonna be having this.
Yeah, and then this I gotta dress and mix.
All right, so this is. We actually pulled this from a little. We pulled it not a little bit. We pulled this from one of our favorite restaurants locally.
Okay.
You fry
Yeah, I
it, but
gotta
you
go
dip
get
it in
the fish.
ponzu and wasabi.
Yeah.
So give that a try.
Ponzu is good. Yeah.
It's not really a traditional ponzu and fried fish, or at least not from my understanding. I'm gonna go into this.
Okay. Oh, well, I'll do the ponzu and fried.
Dave, get in there. Don't be scared.
And a bit of wasabi as well, yeah?
I do like wasabi. You like wasabi?
Yeah. And I like ponzu, so it's gonna be.
Oh wow. I like that.
How about ponzu?
It's
We have it on steak and stuff as well.
so they do it on with a cracked conch here locally. The ponzu wasabi, and it's really good. But we're not allowed to harvest conch because they get it from the Bahamas. So
Yeah, right. Because I'm going to double dip if that's
not good.
Kill whatever. Oh my god, it's not working.
Wow.
it's amazing.
Am I allowed to film that? Sorry.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Isn't that good?
Whoa.
I like that.
There's so many flavors going on. I like the orange in it.
The orange, but then you get the red onion kick.
That is so good.
I like that, Rod. That's amazing.
No, there's some good food going around today.
I don't know.
Get in here.
Oh wow.
You can say a lot about Aaron Young, but there's one thing you can't say, that he doesn't know how to fry a piece of fish.
That is true.
And so what are the other things you would say?
Turn the cameras off.
Oh, thank you. Cut.
All right. So we are going to dig in. Rod's first hog. Look at that. Chef Will threw it together. That is all we've got on this one. If you want to see some different perspectives on today, go to Will's channel, Cooking with Clams. Go to Rod's channel, Rokkit Kit. This is what it's all about. We're having so much fun. We're going to enjoy this food. We've harvested this fish fresh today. Big thanks for coming out. It was nice meeting you. I'm going to come find you in Australia one day, I promise.
Please do. Honestly, any of you. All of you.
I'm gonna go catch a wave over there.
Throw the shotgun. So that is all we've got. Thanks so much for coming along. As always, first hour of the video, I answer comments. So if you want to get on there, get on in the first hour. Ask a question. But other than that, that's all we have. We're going to dig in and enjoy this. I will see you on the next one. Later.
Bye, guys.